Hi, this is Deb and Gino from My Wired Style. I'm really happy to have an opportunity to talk to you today about the Wired Style Revolution program we have for teens. But first, let me tell you what I'm about. I started the organization My Wired Style to give an opportunity for adults, either those that are aspiring entrepreneurs or those that are merely in a career transition, whether it's by their choice or not, to harness the power of their strengths and to fast track their success. How we do that is to put them through an assessment, have a clear picture of what their strengths, gifts, and talents are, and then we help them to find ways to use them and to use them really successfully. Now, my experience is as a VP of Global Brand Operations, 23 years corporate experience, and part of my job was to fly all around the world and open up subsidiary offices. Now, what's so interesting about that is strengths cross every culture, and as long as you can understand how someone is gifted, what their natural talents are, and what smart companies do is they retrofit those talents to needs in the organization. Both the organization thrives, as does the individual, and that's exactly the result that I saw. I've since opened up my own company, My Wired Style, to provide an opportunity for, like I said, adults, career transitioners, and aspiring entrepreneurs, but also, as you'll see in a few moments, for parents and for teens to understand how to harness those strengths even earlier so that they don't have to be a coaching client of someone in their 40s and 50s and still trying to figure out what they want to be when they grow up. I'm also a professor at the Free Agent Academy here online. Now, at an early age, sometimes as young as 3 and 4, and certainly by the time a child is, between the ages of 6 and 8, their strengths really start to bubble up to the surface if mom and dad know what to look for. There are some children, of course, that are natural leaders. Man, oh man, you make them the line leader in kindergarten and their heart is singing. They are just thrilled to pieces. There are other children that are very gifted. They like to entertain. They want to be up front. They want the focus to be on them. There are other children that seek support and steadiness, that they're very nurturing. Other children have the gift of analytics. They see the world through analysis and through logical patterns. All of it's good. All of those strengths are important. Now, I wrote a children's book, The Discovery Adventure Club, to give parents of younger children an opportunity to go through a mini assessment and a charming story with their child to understand how their child is wired and to open up that dialogue early about strengths. Why wait till the child is 17 or 18 years old and they're heading off to college to talk to them about what they're really gifted at? If we can help them to identify it much earlier on, and that parent has an opportunity to nurture it much earlier on, that child now has built certain competencies that's going to take them through their lives and their careers. That's why I started Wired Style Revolution, because besides helping to address it in the younger child market, I really think that teenagers today have an immense amount of pressure. They have the pressure of school, the pressure of life today, the fast-paced technology and communication, which they, of course, and we sometimes see as a real enhancement to life, can sometimes build barriers too, because it could give some false sort of connections, if you will, and we want our kids to make sure that they grow up understanding that the soft skills are just as important as the hard skills they're going to learn. But how many kids go through high school, choose a college, and they may have spent upwards of $100,000 or more on a college degree in student loans and the like, and then they graduate from college and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do next? See, if we can get to children much sooner, provide them through dialogue, through an assessment, with what their natural strengths are and what potential career paths need those strengths, we serve them well and our world well as well. Now, for a lot of children, they've been very lucky. They have a parent who recognized early on what their strengths were and were able to nurture them and build those competencies with them. But not every child has had that opportunity. Not every parent has had that opportunity to have it happen for them. And we can't share what we don't know. So I'm not faulting parents, I'm not faulting educators. We can only do with information once we have it. Now, we really want to focus kids in their strength zone, teens, young adults. If we can keep them in their strength zone, not only are they going to excel, but more importantly, they're going to be very excited about what they're doing as well. And that, frankly, is really the key. So let's talk about the Wired Style Revolution program. You'll see the screen right here online. We take kids through an online assessment. It's quite easy to connect with. They fill in their name and their email address. And once they do that, they go online and they start to go through what our assessment looks like. They would answer questions. So a question could be, I finish what I start when I need to, sometimes, eventually, or on time. And let's face it, there are kids, you and I both know, teens today, that they finish what they start when they absolutely, positively have to. No doubt about it. They've already had a whole lot of warning to it. There are some kids that procrastinate forever. Let's face it, there are some of us adults that procrastinate forever. Yet there are some kids and adults who finish what they start on time all the time. They're very studious. They have to hit deadlines. They want to make sure that they're compliant. How about this question? I say things exactly the way I feel, or to make others laugh, or to make others feel good, or I say things after I've had time to think about it. Depending on how that child is wired and how they answer, the assessment provides them with an instant report. And this report, let me take you through it, because this report tells them everything about their wiring. Now, for a teen, you and I both know they end up in some really challenging situations with their peers. And a lot of times it goes with the territory in the teen years. There's a lot of deflation of ego that happens. They're just feeling not competent. They're second guessing themselves. Kids can be awfully mean to each other, as can adults. And I think for a lot of us, when we see in black and white, or in this case in green and white, what our strengths are and how they can be used, man, oh man, for a teenager, that helps them to validate that they're worthy. That helps them to validate that they're worthwhile. That helps them to validate what they have felt all along on those occasions where they have had the slightest opportunity to draw into those strengths and use them. So let me just show you a quick overview of how this works. On the report, it's a 4-page report, we first talk to the teen about what they are good at doing based on their DISC profile, who they are, how they're naturally gifted. There are some strengths that come along with that. So for example, look over here. You're the most comfortable being the detail person. You excel at planning, explaining details, keeping financial records straight, and are focused on long-range goals. How about this one? You like to do research and are creative and orderly. How about this one? Boy, this is an important one for teens. In relationships, you are comfortable with others who are also serious, intellectual, deep thinkers, but are typically drawn to those with opposite wired styles that are more outgoing than you. Right? Our teens, it's also about relationship. It's also about being relational and how to make smart decisions about peer groups, and this helps them to understand a little bit more about themselves and the world. How about this one? Your C-wired style means you have the strength of creating logical order. You observe, research, and then make your decisions based on fact. How about this one? Your ability to create order from chaos is a gift. When in a leadership role, you are well organized, sensitive to people's feelings, and seek a quality performance. Wow, talk about reinforcing for a teenager what they do best. And you and I both know if we can encourage them early on and give them lots of opportunity to build some practice time in those competencies, that can take them well into their adulthood. We talk a little bit about their strengths. What are some of the key strengths of this particular wired style? We talk about what's the great stuff about them. What's the really cool things, the things that set them apart that they should be proud of and not be embarrassed by. How about this? Depending on how they're wired and depending on how their friends are wired, here's how you can connect with them a little bit better. Same thing would be true, of course, in how they connect with mom and dad, their teachers, people at church, people in the neighborhood, the community, their sports team. This is important relational information because as much as I love technology, my iPhone, my iPad, my MacBook, which I'm recording this on right now, I love technology, but technology is a tool. It should not be the only way that we communicate with people, and we have to help our children to learn that and develop those soft skills much better so that they can be very competent adults. So how do they rock the world? Well, we want them to harness their strengths and use them well. And we talk to them about, here's the bottom line, here's what you're great at doing. And here's a real key. Here's what you are motivated by. I hear oftentimes from educators and from parents that are saying, oh my gosh, my kid is just not motivated. Well, that's not true. Your kid is motivated. It's just that we're not tapping into that motivation. There are ways that we can help to tap into it, and there are ways that we can help them to understand how they can tap into it, because then they are empowered to really create their own future mandate based on who they are, how they're wired, and what they do best. We talk about what work environment is best for them, right? We talk about when they're following someone, when they are following a leader or coach, here's what they respond well to. And we tell them how they can really maximize their strengths. We also give them a little bit of advice about, dealing with their parents, how they can be better connector to their parents and understand that a little bit better. And now here's the real key. This is clearly not an exhaustive list at all, but we've dropped into the report a couple of dozen career paths, potential career paths, not meant as an absolute, but to really be an idea catalyst for these kids so that they can see what are the types of careers and jobs and businesses that would naturally use their strengths. That is key. This page alone is a page that parents and kids can sit down with and open up a dialogue and talk about possibilities. I mean, this is what we want our kids and their parents to be connected through, to understand how their child is wired, to understand that that teen desperately wants to succeed, and all they need to do is connect the two to really help them rock their strengths. That's what our Wired Style Revolution report does. So I would encourage you to connect with us. You can email me at deb@mywiredstyle.com, or you can dial our office at 631-880-2292 and learn how you can bring the Wired Style Revolution to your school.